Okay. Once again, this is MECA Global Toastmasters Club, the first meeting in January 2022. Thank you all for joining. We have our club officers. I'm playing the role of president of MECA Global Toastmasters, and along with me, Tasveer, VP of Education, who has joined, and Yasser, VP of Membership, Busola, VP of Public Relations, and we have our club sponsor, club mentor, Will Lukang. We are our Area 43 Director, Pamela Johnson, and our distinguished guest, Lubna Eraji, Dr. Lubna Eraji, who has joined us on this Toastmaster session. Now, I would like to give everyone a chance to do a self-introduction for a minute so that we all can get to know each other. So let's start from Huma. Huma, would you like to introduce yourself?
Yes. I'm a chartered accountant. I run a small business, a women's only owned chartered accountancy firm in Pakistan. The idea is to promote women who, after doing the chartered accountancy, just sit in the house and are not able to work for various reasons, such as family pressure and also, they're having babies at that time. And just when you qualify is when you get married. So we started our business of online work from home years ago, not when COVID hit us. So we were very well placed for COVID. So that's my small introduction.
Thank you, Huma. Thank you very much. We'll go to Yasser.
Thanks, Hari. My name is Yasser Imtiaz from Jersey. Currently working for a company here in New Jersey, which is in the technology space. By profession, by training, I'm a chartered accountant as well, Huma, from Pakistan. And I'm also CPA here in USA. And that's pretty bit about. Thank you. Thanks, Hari.
Thanks, Yasser. We'll go to Will Lukang.
Hello, everyone. My name is Will Lukang. I'm currently a executive director at UBS. I'm the head of QA and testing organization, but on the side, actually, I'm a executive coach and leadership trainer. I've been teaching leadership for many years. I'm associated with John Maxwell team, and I'm also passionate about people development. Thank you for having me today.
Thank you, Will. Pleasure to have you. Pamela Johnson.
Good morning, everyone. I am Pamela Johnson. As Harry mentioned, I am the area director for this club. I am a Toastmaster member of several clubs and have held several offices. I also coordinate a youth leadership program, which is basically a Toastmasters club for middle school children. And I work in the corporate world at this point in time, but I am also a real estate agent on the side. Thank you.
Thank you, Pamela. Multifaceted personalities. Thank you. Busola.
Thank you. Hello, everyone. My name is Busola Bejide. I work with Coronation Group in Lagos, Nigeria. The group plays in the financial services and capital market sectors. I head the finance and strategy unit. I'm married with 2 kids. I also have my side business. I've got interest in the fashion industry. Thank you.
Thank you, Busola. Solomon.
Hello, everyone. This is Solomon. Currently in Nigeria. I'm actually a Ghanaian, but moved from South Africa recently to Nigeria in my new role as a regional business analyst. So I'm currently residing in Nigeria, and also a chartered accountant, and have been with Toastmasters for some time now. I'm ready to learn from the good people of Toastmasters. Yeah.
Fantastic. Thank you, Solomon. Thanks for joining us. Akhil. Yeah, you're on mute, Akhil.
Are you able to hear me? Yeah. So I'm Akhil. I reside in New Jersey in Madison. I'm currently working as a director of software engineering and cloud operation for Vitech. We are in the business of providing pension and insurance administration software solutions. I, from the personal perspective, living in Jersey with my family and 2 kids.
Thank you, Akhil. Julia?
Hello, good afternoon, everyone. I'm Ojeleye. I'm Ojeleye Oluwatosin from Nigeria. I work with food business in Nigeria. I'm also a chartered accountant. I'm happy to be here. I hope I enjoy this program today. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, Julia.
Yeah.
Nabil?
Hi, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Hi, good morning. This is Nabil Rafiq. I'm residing in Karachi, Pakistan. I'm working as, by profession, I'm a chartered accountant with 22 years of experience. I'm currently working as a commercial director in Siemens, Pakistan. In transition of leaving Siemens and joining another organization. So most probably first priority will be with a new organization with new horizon and new responsibility, probably a few local organization which I'll be serving on the board. So there will be a growth potential and next position which I'm looking for. Family background, 12 years old of daughter, 2 younger son, 1 7 and 1 2 years. So that's the family background.
Fantastic. Thank you, Nabil. Ruchika?
Hi, I'm Ruchika Chopra. Currently, I'm a director in UBS. My current role has been working on the US regulations CCAR. I'm under the wing of Will Lukang and Hari since 2018 and growing since then. Thank you.
Pleasure to have you, Ruchika. Omar?
Hi everyone, my name is Omar Maksood. I'm based in the UK and I work for a digital security company. My current role is Strategic Analytics Director, but similar to everyone on this call, I think I do have a chartered accountant background as well. I joined Toastmasters, this group, I think late last year, but my intention is to be a lot more frequent this year. And I think, Harry, I read some of your messages in this new year and they were very motivational. So thank you.
Thank you. Pleasure to have you, Omar. Tasveer?
Hello, everyone. My name is Tasveer Khan. I am VPE for this Toastmasters Club. First, I would apologize for a long gap. I had been away from this role for some pressing reasons. Well, first, my mother-in-law passed away. We went to Pakistan. Then I went through a surgery. So I just came back to Toronto, Canada in December. And then due to year-end holidays, we had this couple of sessions off. So hopefully I'll be active now from now on. My background is also, like most of us, chartered accountancy. I'm working as a CFO for a company in Dubai. I actually had this job while I was in Dubai and 5 years before I moved to Canada. So since then, it's still working. And I would love to work with you and learn from all of you. Thank you.
Thank you, Tasveer. Thanks for joining, and it's a pleasure to have you back. I hope things will get better in your personal front, and we look forward to have you and guide all the other members in MECA Global. Thank you so much. We have Ilan from Wharton CTO, where we are cohorts. So Ilan, would you like to introduce yourself?
Yeah, thank you, Hari. Good morning, everyone. As Hari said, I'm Ilan. I am from a Wharton program. I live in Pennsylvania, United States. I work for a company, bank, Ally Bank, as a senior director of business analytics. So my primary focus all about data and analytics. So that is my primary focus of my work. Yeah, I've been with this industry for nearly more than 20 years now. Throughout my career, I was working with the data and analytics function. So family friend, I have a wife and 3 kids. That's in a nutshell, that's me.
Thank you, Ilan. Thank you. So as you can see, our club is truly global, all the way. Huma is joining us from Los Angeles at 5 a.m. in the morning. And we have people in New Jersey, UK, Pakistan, Nigeria, and in US from New Jersey. So all across the world. It's a pleasure to have everyone. And it's also a major responsibility to be able to gather everyone and to provide a platform that's of value for each one of you. So it's important that everyone in the club and the club officers take more impetus, more ownership to provide the platform in a consistent and value-adding manner, and that's what we are here about. So it's important that we get introduced to each other because as part of the Toastmasters, the networking is a big skill that we all tend to gain. And having a great network is going to help personally and professionally. And we'll be able to serve and help others when we have a good network and like-minded ones like this in this group. So thank you once again. And right now I'll be for some who joined a little late, I'll just give a quick introduction of Lubna and hand over 10 to 15 minutes of a speech session from Lubna on how we as high achievers can grow into the next level and how people can turn themselves into a high achieving executive. She'll touch upon strategies on career development, goal setting, and the overall professional development path. So to introduce Dr. Lubna Eraji is a certified executive and career coach, adjunct faculty, management consultant, neuroscientist with more than 20 years of global experience working across continents and cultures. Lubna is the mother of 2 amazing teenagers. She's originally from Morocco, did her PhD in Paris, her postdoctoral training at Columbia University in New York City, and her MBA at Rutgers Business School. During her extensive career, Lubna has held academic positions as well as corporate roles in sales, marketing, business development, and management consulting within the healthcare and pharmaceutical industry. She has managed client projects, developed partnerships, and provided strategic advisory services to C-suite and senior executives at Fortune 500 companies and educational institutions. She is experienced in supporting her clients with strategic planning, market research, project management, and curriculum development. As an executive coach, and it's my pleasure to say she is my executive coach as well, Lubna provides coaching services to high-achieving executives and entrepreneurs in career transition who are committed to their success no matter what and want to feel empowered to take their next steps with confidence. Being a career switcher herself, Dr. Eraji is very much aware of the challenges of not pursuing a fulfilling career and not living a life with purpose. She is the founder and CEO of Advances Consulting, and her zone of genius is to motivate and empower her clients, build the confidence needed to make bold decisions. She supports them gain clarity about their career options, helps them build a clear and detailed roadmap, and the transformation they experience affects not only their career, but many areas of life. With this introduction, I would like to welcome and hand over the session to Lubna.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Harry. Thank you for the kind introduction. Thank you all for introducing yourselves. And it's my pleasure to be here with you. What I thought I would do, I would walk you through the journey that I walk my clients through. So I think it's put in a kind of simple way. So what I will do, I will talk to you about the different steps, and then we will open it to questions that Does this sound good, Harry? Yeah, okay, awesome. All right, so let me share my screen. Okay, can you all see my screen?
Yes,
okay,
we can.
Great. All right. So, like Harry mentioned, I work with high achievers who are committed to advancing their career. And when I talk about career advancement, I include career transition. I include people who are interested in getting promoted, people who are interested in getting pay raises, people who feel that they are not challenged enough, people who want to take on more responsibilities. So there's a combination of things that are included in career advancement. And I like to think about it from this perspective. When I start working with my clients, I think it's really, really important to start with the self. We need to be aware of what the current situation looks like, right? So when we start working together, people go through what I call a self-assessment and self-discovery. It's very important to understand where we are today and where we're heading. Like this, it's much easier to be able to develop a roadmap. So what does the first step include? The first step, like I said, is about increasing the awareness about the current situation. We perform different self-assessments. I'm sure many of you have taken assessments like the EIQ, the MBTI, the Enneagram. There are multiple other assessments that can be taken. We start looking at the values. The values are the guiding principles for each one of us. When we're doing a job or we're focusing on a project that's aligned with our values, everything is flowing. It's much easier to wake up every morning and do the job and feel good about what we're doing. When things are not aligned with the values, then we start feeling that we're not completely fulfilled, we're not happy, so things are not running smoothly. The other thing I focus on, everyone can have like some mindset blocks, some fears. You know, when I talk about fear, it can be fear of achievement, fear of growth. When people are very ambitious, it may sound that it doesn't make sense, but believe me, a lot of things are subconscious, and as we know, the subconscious mind controls more than 90% of our thoughts, of our behaviors. So it's important to do a quick check of how we're thinking about things, how we're seeing things before even moving to the next level, okay? And while we're going through this self-discovery process, we perform what I call a SWOT analysis. The SWOT analysis, we do it in marketing for products, but here it's very eye-opening to people when they start looking at their strengths, their weaknesses, and I like to call weaknesses areas for improvement, right? Everyone has areas for improvement. We look at the opportunities that are out there, and we also think about potential threats, because when you're aware of everything around you, you prepare. You can also acquire new skills. You're thinking about everything strategically, okay? So once people do the self-discovery, the self-assessment, they start gaining a lot of clarity. The eyes start opening, and sometimes people come to me and they're like, you know what, Lubna, I feel stuck. I think I have only one option in front of me. I'm like, really? So when we go through that process, they start looking at things differently, and they realize that there are many options out there. And this way of looking at things can be applied to many areas of our life, not just to our career, right? So we start exploring potential options. Then a very important component is to have a vision. You want to have a vision statement. You want to have a mission statement. you want to have a purpose. And people who have a purpose, I mean, they get motivated much easier. I remember hearing Huma. So when I heard Huma talk, I felt her passion. I like, even if I don't know you, Huma, but I felt that you had a purpose to be helping these women who are going through these challenges, you know, working and having kids, and I can relate too. I wish somebody helped me, you know, and enlightened me about the possibility of, you know, being successful at home and being successful at work and having some strategies to juggle everything together. Because as women, we work outside, we work inside, and it's just a given, you know? This is the way it is. You just have to do it. Anyway, so the vision is important because, like I said, we're going through a journey. Let's imagine we're here. I'm in New Jersey. I want to go to Paris or to London. I know where I'm going. If I wake up one morning and I'm like, oh, you know what? I'm going to go somewhere. And that's not defined, that's not clear, then how am I going to decide which plane ticket to buy, how to pack my luggage, right? So let's think about it that way. We need to have a very clear vision of where we are heading so that we start planning and strategizing. And vision can be developed short-term and long-term. For example, by the end of 2022, what's my vision? I want to be connecting to more people. I want to be giving more presentations. I see myself growing my business and impacting more people. And when I'm developing a vision, I have to be as specific as possible. And I need to have a vision that's emotionally charged. I need to feel it. Everything that I put on paper or think about has to bring a certain emotion to me, right? Because when it's the case, we do it. We get to do it. So mission statement, a vision statement, you develop it for short term, for 3 months. I like to have a vision for 3 months because we're more inclined to executing, right? And the mission is usually linked to the purpose, okay? So my mission in life, for example, is to be a source of inspiration to my friends, to my family, to my clients, to my students, to people around me, and help them feel empowered and build confidence and just support them to operate at full potential. So every time when I remember that, oh my God, I feel great. And I'm like, yes, so I need to keep going. Especially on the hard days, that's when I want to remember that. I'm like, okay, keep going, keep going. All right, so once we have a vision that's defined, we connect with our mission actually every single day. We start setting goals, right? We set goals. We want to set bigger goals when we think about the year. We can set quarterly goals, and I find that very helpful. I mean, to myself and to my clients, right? And then we start breaking those big goals into smaller pieces. It's much easier, right? We can do everything at the same time right away, although we want to sometimes and we're impatient, or at least I can speak for myself, right? But it's very important to have, oh, Harry is really, really good. And he has like long-term goals and short-term goals. And seriously, Harry, like I admire what you showed me last time. It's really amazing, right? So long-term goals and check-in every time you achieve a goal. You know, when you check, when you put that check in, it makes you feel great, right? And then you keep going. And sometimes those goals can change. They can be adjusted. So we need to keep a flexible mind, and we get to be agile when we're applying and executing those goals. All right. So along the way, once we have developed everything, right? Once we know what our strengths are, we have a couple of options to explore. We know what our vision is. We have our big and small goals. then we start developing a roadmap, right? We have all the different components of developing a roadmap. You can develop a vision board. Many people like to do that at this time of the year. And I'm actually working with a group of clients right now. They're developing their vision board that includes their career goals, their health goals, their relationship goals, different types of goals. Because at the end of the day, I mean, I personally think we're not defined by our jobs. We are humans and we have different components in our lives, right? So when we have a balance in our life, it makes our life easier. We feel more balanced, we're happier, and we get to achieve more. All right? Okay, so the next step, once we have all these components, that's when we start developing what I call a value proposition. Value proposition is one of the most important statements that an executive or corporate person can have, okay? Because with the value proposition, that's where you tell people your achievements, your skills, the type of projects you have worked on, the type of clients you have served. You know, for example, I worked on projects, on strategy and planning projects for Fortune 500 companies, and then you list some of those companies, and it's a way to position yourself very effectively. It's really important. And one of the things I noticed is that many people, no matter what their level of management is, have some type of challenge writing that for multiple reasons. Some people, I would hear things like, oh, you know, Lubna, I don't want to be bragging about myself. Oh, I'm not sure this is important. Guess what? Everything is important. And sometimes there's an art to connecting your achievements with your passion, with things you have done 20 years ago, maybe longer, things that you have done extra of work, but these are things that define you and define your personality. So for example, me as an employer, I want to know about your personality, okay? Even if you share with me this information on your resume, I get to understand who you are as a person. I'm interested in knowing your story. If I'm going to hire you, I want to hire someone I can trust. I want to hire someone I can connect with. I want to hire someone who has many skills, somebody who's ambitious, somebody who likes challenges, etc., etc. So in the value proposition, I mean, you tell people what you're bringing to the table without bragging, right? We're not bragging, but if we don't do it, nobody's going to do it instead of us, right? So the value proposition is included at the top of the resume. It's also included on the LinkedIn profile. People use it as a pitch, you know, for business owners. So there were a couple of people here who are business owners. That's your pitch. You're using it all the time, and you're telling people who you are. Especially when you want to be developing partnerships, you want to be developing your business, you want to be investing. So you're using the value proposition every single day. And for people who are going to interviews, it's something they use during the interview, right? And I tell my clients, listen, I want you to remember to say your value proposition at least 2-3 times when you're interviewing. It doesn't hurt to remind people what you're bringing to the table, even if you give them the resume. All right? Okay. And this goes also for, like I said, for people who have businesses. I mean, you have your brand messaging, you have your brand positioning, and you want to be having a value proposition and a positioning that's very much aligned with who you are and with what your brand offers. Okay. And okay, so along the way, when we work on all of these components, we start developing a job search strategy. So the job search strategy, just to give you an example, I mean, it will depend on what different people are looking for. However, like the most basic one would be to start looking at a list of companies you're interested in, and then looking at positions, and then trying to match the requirements of specific positions to what you're bringing to the table. If you think that things are missing, you can think about getting additional training, maybe going back to school, which, I mean, I have a couple of clients who have been doing that, right? And the first thing I would say, check if there's training within your company, because most companies offer training. So you start there before going outside, right? So have a job search strategy, be very structured with that. And then also along the way, you want to be networking. You want to be networking nonstop. Oh, I think somebody has to mute themselves. So I don't know, Harry, if you have the option to do that, please. Okay, so networking, we're constantly networking every single day. Sometimes I hear people say, oh, Lubna, you know what? I don't like networking. I don't like going outside and talking to people. We're networking every single day. And when we think about it as an opportunity to build a relationship, we think about networking as an opportunity to connect to someone else and get to learn what they're doing and who they are. And who knows? Along the way, you might be collaborating with these people. Along the way, these people might be interested in hiring you, or they might talk to you about an opportunity that's available at their company or another company that they're aware of. Okay, so go with a very open mindset about networking, about connecting to people, and just about having fun during the whole process, right? You connect to people, you network, and you do it constantly. All right, and while you're doing all this work, you're implementing your plan. So those steps that I mentioned to you, I mean, usually the first steps, 1, 2, 3, I would say you want to go in that order. But then afterwards, I mean, you start developing your job search strategy up front. You don't need to wait until you finish the whole thing, right? It's something we're doing constantly. And the implementation of your plan, the implementation of your learning is something you're going to keep doing along the way. And you want to be thinking about your career growth constantly, even if you have just been offered a new position. I'm currently working with 2 clients who switched positions 2 months ago, and we're working on their transition and how to be successful and how to keep thinking about the next step. Okay, what will their next position be? How should they think about it? How should they set themselves for success, and how to keep networking and growing? Okay, so yeah, so I think that's what I have. Harry, would you like me to add anything else, or you think that's good? We can go to the questions.
Yes, I think we will go to the question, but thank you, Lubna. At times, many of us think we know what we want to do or what role we want to target, but the question is how, and question is how do we break that into logical steps, and how do we go into it? And your journey, your visual roadmap was kind of very self-explanatory, and it gave a clear path on what logical steps we need to go through as part of our self-discovery and the journey. And each point that you emphasized ring well with many of us. So thank you very much for giving a journey, giving a strategy for us to go through. The next 20 minutes, what we will focus is we will ask folks to come up with their questions. And then with the questions, we will go through some of your strategies, the values, and the things that will guide us into this. And I'm sure there are a couple of hands. So let's start with Will. Will, go ahead.
Hi, Lumna. Excellent presentation. One of my questions around, if you don't want to leave the organization, but you want to stay where you are, and you want to state your value proposition, but you don't want to sound like you're bragging, how do we best do that? Because at times there's, to me, from an Asian culture, bragging is not one of the good things that you could do. My parents always said, do your work and do your work quietly, and people would notice. But the reality is, if you don't tell people what you do, you're probably never going to make it. But if you want to continue your journey, how do you best do that without people saying like, oh, you're brown nose saying, you're just showcasing? Like, how do we best do that?
Yes,
In a
that's a
subtle
great
way.
question, Will. That's a great question. And you know what? I understand you because I've had students from China, right? And I know about the hierarchical culture, right? So people will not speak until they are asked. And I know that some of like the Native American students were sometimes challenged with that. And once we did a class on cultural diversity, they were able to understand that, right? So that's one point. So to go back to your question, yes, you get to have a value proposition and you get to be networking nonstop, even if you don't think you want to switch companies, right? And the value proposition is something you want to focus on, whether you want to stay or you want to change jobs. But the point is not to look at it as bragging. You want to think about it as continuously positioning yourself, continuously reminding people what you're bringing to the table. And you're right, there's a whole art of doing it, right? You don't want to be just like throwing things to people. Oh, I'm the best at this. I did this. No, there's a way of doing it. There's an art of doing it. And the best way is to have regular check-in points with your boss, with your colleagues, be engaged in different presentations, in different situations that you have to showcase your leadership skills, you being a team player, you being the best team member, you thinking ahead and having a vision and a strategy. And there are different ways of doing that, right? So I agree with you. You're not going to go and like brown nose and no, that's not the point. The point is to keep reminding people. And I'm going to share a story with you. So I'm from Morocco. I studied in France, and over there, you never brag. You don't talk about yourself. You let your professor do it. You let your parents do it. You let other people do it. When I came to the US and I had to ask for recommendation letters when I was writing grants to get my research funded, I would go to my mentors and ask them for a letter of recommendation. And they would tell me, oh, Lubna, you know what? Go and write it. I'm like, oh, what? I have to write a letter of recommendation by myself? No way. I will never do that. I can't do that. Now, like I joke with my students, I'm like, now I can do it. I have no problem doing it. So yes, there's a fine line between bragging and between reminding people, because you know what happens, and I'm sure you know that, Will, right? I mean, sometimes people are so competent and they have amazing skills and they think they're going to wait, and maybe the boss of the boss will notice them, maybe they will give them a promotion. But I mean, seriously, what I learned here in the US, right? We need to fight for everything. And when I say fight, in a nice way, we're going to play nice in the sandbox, right? But yeah, but we need to remind people, oh, it's been 2 years. This is the last time I got promoted. And it's good to keep track of everything. You know, just to give you an example, one of my clients I'm working with now, so she went through this program and she was offered a position within her company, a lateral position, but with different responsibilities, with an increased salary, and she's thrilled. But like since day one, we put in place a 90 days strategy, and she's going win after win after win. And we're keeping track of everything. And I'm like, listen, this is the time to start thinking about what you want next, right? So yeah, sorry for the long answer. Okay.
Thank you, Lubna, and thanks for a great question, Will. Akhil, you had a question?
Yeah, I have a question, but before that, I just want to say a little bit about what Luke mentioned. I think I came from India, and in our local, we had a proverb that kind of relates to what question Luke has asked. It basically means that in the English translation, it basically means that without asking, only mother will give you something. Nobody else will give you anything without asking. So that's what kind of relates to it. When you can and what Lubna you have mentioned, right? That you keep in touch with your manager, engage with them, keep in touch with your colleagues, see what and that will help. Even though indirectly, if you are not telling about your achievement, when you are talking with them, the topic comes up, and when you and it helps them to remind in their subconscious mind that what value proposition you bring to the company. Yeah, the question that I had was, you talked about the networking strategy. I want to know a bit more about how do you, if you can go more into detail, how do you build that strategy? What are the exactly steps you should take to do that and network with the like-minded people. From there you can learn and achieve more.
Oh yes, yeah, thank you, Akhil. Yes, so the networking, there are different ways to network. Okay, networking within your company, right? So you stay connected to your colleagues. You want to know what they're doing. You want to keep an eye on potential next projects that the organization is thinking about. You can volunteer to participate, you know, the same way you guys are here in those Toastmasters. I mean, my understanding, you're constantly volunteering and putting yourselves out there. So that's an amazing way to network, okay? Another way to network is to be very present on LinkedIn, okay? I know that, I mean, and I used to be like that too. I used to be shy. Oh my God, I'm going to put myself out there. Yes, we get to put ourselves like out there because these are the requirements of, I would say, corporate America, okay? Whether we're working for an organization or whether we have our own businesses, it's still very important to be present, to show what we're doing, to show and participate. You know, I would say even every single day. If you have nothing to share, you can go and like people's comments. You can add a comment, right? Every day or maybe every week, you can have a goal of adding, I don't know, 2 to 5 people to your network, and you keep growing your network. You have to have at least, I mean, it says at least 500. I mean, you have to have 1,000, 2,000. If you have less than that, then the network is not big enough. I mean, these are just the requirements of the place we are these days, right? But like LinkedIn is a great place to network. Okay, you can reshare articles. You can share comments on specific article and position yourself as subject matter expert, right? Every time you do it, you're going to stay in people's minds. You know, Akil, the same way you're connecting with the colleagues and staying in their mind, you want to do the same thing on the social platform.
Okay,
Sounds
yeah, thank you.
Did I answer your question?
Yes, you answered. Thank you
Okay,
so much for that.
Thank you, Akil.
Thank you, Akil, for a great question, and thanks, Lubna. We have Ilan. Ilan, you want to go first?
Hi, Ilan.
Yeah. Hi, Lubna. Thank you. This session was really great, especially people looking for career advancement or even self-realization, right? That is the first thing to do. I think this is great. My question here is, how do you focus? That is the key thing, right? Even though you self-realize, you have the steps to take, but how do you keep track? How do you focus? So you said the 90 days. There are so many things because you are in a career where you are too busy at work, with family. But I know I wanted to do this, but how do you focus? Any inputs will be great.
Yeah, that's a very good question. It's a very, very good question because, yeah, I have those big goals. I want to achieve that. But then practically, realistically, how do I do it? So I'm going to share a tip with you. That's very practical. Every Sunday evening, I have a call with my clients, whoever is available to join. We sit there for like half an hour to an hour and we plan our week. We plan every single hour of our week. I mean, as much as possible. Even, okay, I have an hour, excuse me, to go to the gym. I have an hour to drive my daughter wherever she needs to go. I have an hour for meeting X, Y, and Z. So basically when you start blocking your calendar and doing it intentionally, then you make things happen, right? Okay. So let's say, for example, you might decide that if you want to focus on specific goals for specific project or for your career, you could allocate, for example, the first hour or the first 2 hours of the day before it gets busy, before you go to work, or whatever is convenient for you and where your energy is at the highest, and then you're laser focused on that specific goal, right? And this is very practical and it's weekly basis, but then you can do the same thing for the quarter and you can do it for the month and just have high level goals, okay? Because it's not easy. I mean, yeah, like I haven't done it. I didn't sit and put like all my goals for the quarter, but I have like high level goals. And then every week I'm like, okay, how can I get closer each week to the goals that I want to have achieved by the end of Q1? Okay. So is that helpful, Ilan?
That's correct. Yeah, planning is going to make, and then implementation is going to be the key.
Yes. Because we can hope, we can have a vision, but if we don't take action, guess what? Nothing is going to happen, right? So, yeah.
Thank you. Appreciate it. Thank you.
You're welcome. You're welcome.
Thanks for the question, Ilan. So it's all about mindful planning and then following it through to see whether we are on track or are we off track. And I think Lubna had mentioned in past, it's also good to have a buddy network, right? The buddy network where you talk about your next couple of weeks or next week goals, and you ask the other person to share, and you'll find some common connect, some common ways to improve productivity, increase efficiency, and so forth. But having that habit of weekly and periodically planning keeps us to stay motivated, and then we can use also that session to reflect back on our mission statement, reflect back on our value proposition, reflect back on our values, and that will give us the energy that we were missing, right, to keep us to give the fuel back, right? So we fuel our car on every often, right, when it is running out of gas. So we need to just look back on our value proposition and our periodic planning to keep us on track. So that's one of the inputs I received from Lubna. Thank you.
You're right. And Harry is very good at planning and structuring and setting goals. So he's the good person to talk to.
Thank you. Thank you for the kind words. Our next question is from Busola. Busola, go for it. You're on mute.
Yeah, excellent presentation.
Thank you, Busola.
Yes, I also share your sentiment regarding how to present yourself and maintain relevance at the workplace. I want to believe it's the same around the world. It's same here in Nigeria, so it's not different from the US. But I have a question, and I think someone had asked that question in a different way, of which you provided an answer to that question. But I'd like to ask, first of all, we cannot overemphasize the importance of networking in one's career journey. So I want to ask, how would you help, or what will be your advice to an introverted person, someone who is a reserved person? And you know, for some people, okay, there are different personalities, and for some people, it's innate. It comes very, very easy. You can easily network, you can easily socialize. But when you're an introverted person, it becomes pretty more difficult for you. So what will be your advice, or how have you helped such people in the past? Thank you.
Yes, yeah, that's a very good question, Busola. And okay, I'm going to share something with you. I used to be so shy, very, very, very shy, very shy. At least when I moved to the US, I used to be very shy. Okay, I'm extroverted, but I'm shy. I used to be scared to stand up in front of people and give presentations. And guess what? We get to do the things that scare us the most. That's how we grow, and that's how we challenge ourselves, okay? And we want to keep going out of our comfort zone, little by little. If we want something really bad, we get to get out of our comfort zone, right? Okay, so people who are introverted, and yes, and I have a couple of clients who are like that, I tell them just start one easy step at the time, and see what happens, right? Give it a try. Do a little experiment. You know what? I'm going to reach out to someone on LinkedIn. Okay, what would happen? Maybe the person is going to answer me, maybe she wouldn't. Oh, what happens if the person answers me? What should I say? You know what? Again, think about it as building a relationship, getting to make new friends without overthinking it. Because I think sometimes what we do, we're overthinking the outcome too much, right? We're overthinking, and then you have the analysis paralysis, and then we don't do anything. I mean, I'm telling you, because it happens. I'm like, oh, what will be the answer? I'm not sure if I'm saying it the right way. Guess what? What would be the worst case scenario? The person is going to tell me, you know what, Lubna, I'm not interested in connecting with you. Great. Feedback. I'm not going to get upset. I'm not going to take it personal. It's feedback. Okay, great. Let's move on. And the important thing, Busola, is not to take things personally, because sometimes people are busy. People don't have time to do, to go there and answer, and that's okay, right? But again, I would say just try things that make you uncomfortable, to a certain level, and see what happens. And the more you do it, the more comfortable you get, right? And even if people are introverts, they can network. They can still network, right? Sounds good. Or you have a follow-up question?
Fine, yeah, I'm convinced. I think you pretty much answered the question. Excellent.
Keep trying, keep trying. I'm telling you, I used to be scared to stand in front of a class. And I tell my students sometimes, and they're like, what? No. I'm like, yeah, I used to shake, okay? And the first time I had to teach a class of executive MBA students, I had like 60 or 65, all grown-up executives. I was scared, I was scared.
Thank you, Lubna. With the conscious of time, we are at 8:58. 2 more minutes to go. I know that we have hands from Huma and Tasveer. Let's first ask Huma. Huma, go back. Your question, please.
My question is that, you know, as a woman, early in my career, I had to take a low, you know, key job simply because I knew I would rather spend more time with my family. But as I've moved up and I want to take up a challenging job, the perception was that, yes, I was a very subdued worker. So how do you change a perception? And I've noticed that because I deal with a lot of women, that we all face the same problem. That yes, our perception becomes, because we have deliberately taken a job that is, you know, 2 or 3 levels below us, simply to have more time with the family. And that when you want to move into the challenging jobs, people are not willing to give it to you because of the perception. So how do you change a perception?
Before going to the perception, Huma, I would say you get to decide what you want. Each one of us gets to decide what's convenient to us, not what people think we should be doing. And I hear you. I hear you 100%. You know, I went through similar challenges. I had to dial down my positions at some point. I had to take salary cuts, right? But the question is, what do you want? You know, do you want to spend time with your kids and have some type of job, or is your job really important to you? And how do you balance? At the end of the day, it's not about what people think. It's about what you want and how you get it, okay? And you make it happen, right? So that's number one. Number two, when it comes to people's perception, I would say if you, as a mother, you decided to take a little break, that was your decision. You wanted to do it because you wanted more balance in your life and you wanted to spend more time with your kids. And you want to go back to work, you want to get more challenging work. I would say, I mean, you can acquire new skills if they are part of the job requirements, right? But I would say, like, when you go to an interview, it's not about justifying or feeling that people are judging us, right? I tell my clients all the time, listen, you don't need to justify anything. You made the decision because you thought that at the time it was the right one for you, right? So you're the one who decides. And when you go with confidence, you're like, yes, okay, I decided not to work as in crazy jobs as I should have. And there's no should have. You choose to do what you want to do, right? And when you come from that place of certainty and confidence, you tell people, this is the way it is. I made that decision, but now I'm ready to go back. I'm ready to take on more responsibilities. And you make sure that you're ready for it. Make sense, Huma?
Yes, thank you.
Yes, okay.
Thank you, Lubna. Thanks for Huma. We are right. We are 2 minutes after the hour, but I just want to give the opportunity to the last question to Tasveer,
yes,
and then
no
we
problem.
will do an acknowledgement. Tasveer, go ahead.
Lubna, I just wanted to expand on question of Busula about networking. And the fact is that we finance people are, most of us are introvert because of the job, nature of job. We are most of the time on screen, so that's why we don't socialize and network with people. And over time, our challenges rather increase as we go higher the ladder. We feel like we don't have those skills. One particular question which challenge I personally feel, and I feel most of us would have come across with, is when we go to networking events and we see so many people in a big hall, unknown, okay, and we feel overwhelmed. Okay, we don't know how to handle this situation. And what happens most of the time, we stick with 1 or 2 persons, which we feel comfortable with, and that is it. Okay, then event is gone. So basically we come out without any real benefit. How do we manage this situation? How do we handle this and how we network with those people?
Yeah, that's a very good question. Yeah, so the thing is to have a specific intention. What do you want to achieve from that networking event? Are there people you want to connect with? For sure, right? And usually now for networking events, I mean, they usually share the list of participants. So if this is available to you, you can pick a list of, I don't know, maybe 5, 6, maybe 10 people you really want to connect with. And you go with that specific intention. So that when you go there, and it's true, it can be overwhelming. I mean, you take a few minutes to breathe, you know, and get comfortable amongst everybody, right? And then you start connecting just with the people that you really want to connect with. Where is just, oh, just where?
Yeah.
Does that make sense? I think you're on mute.
Yeah, yes, it does make sense. Yeah.
Yeah, you know, just go with like specific intention. And again, it's not about feeling overwhelmed. It's about getting a specific outcome out of that event, right? And like I said earlier, going to networking events or networking with people is about having fun. It's about building relationships. It's about connecting to people. Nobody is forcing us to network. We're doing it because it's going to be beneficial to us. And I think just tweaking that mindset a little bit would make you feel much easier. And something I say all the time, breathe, breathe, breathe. Because when you breathe, you calm down your brain and the physiology, you know, gets more balanced. Everything is okay. Everything is okay. And you always choose. You always have choices.
Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you. Thank you
very much. Thank you very much for the question, Tasveer, and thank you, Lubna, for answering so many questions from many of us. It's been a pleasure to have you. It's been a pleasure to learn from you. Let's all give a big round of applause to Dr. Lubna. Thank you so much. And,
thank you.
And once again, I want to thank all of you for taking your time on a Saturday morning, so for whom it's an early morning, taking time to group together and learn from each other, share our views with each other as we have a full year ahead. And the recurring practice, the habit of planning and being intentional about the outcome and having confidence to gain that outcome. And when we are in doubt, go back and rely on your buddy network, ask your like-mindedness and learn from others who have done it before. And these all things come as a routine and habit, and that's where having weekly review about your own goals and your next week and having the meetings like this on a periodic first and third Saturdays, we are able to group together, we are able to talk on the same topics and learn together. These are great inputs, and the strength of our network is the strength of our confidence, and we can build on that confidence and have a positive attitude. With that, I want to thank everyone. I wish all of you a very happy, successful, prosperous, and healthy 2022. Thank you, everyone. Bye-bye. See you soon.
Thank you, Harry. Thank you, Lubna, and
Thank
everyone.
you, Harry and Lubna.
Thank you.
Have a good weekend.
Thank you all.
Thank you, Harry.
Thank
Bye,
you.
everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ari.
Thanks, Ajalia. Thanks, everyone. Thanks, Basala. Thanks, Akhil.
Bye.
Bye.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.